Good morning and welcome to the digital set in the Local 4 newsroom. We are going to recap the Danielle Stislicki case up to the minute, including Karen Drew's story from yesterday. We'll getting to that here in just a moment. Danielle Stislicki was last seen on December 2nd, 2016, as she was leaving her job at MetLife in Southfield. She had plans to meet a friend for dinner that night, but she never showed up, and her friend never heard from her. The next day, Stislicki's Jeep Renegade was found parked 8 feet from her Farmington Hills apartment door. Her purse was left inside the SUV. On December 19th, 16 days after that, police announced they believed Stislicki was the victim of a crime. And then 3 days later, on the 22nd, authorities searched the Berkeley home of a former security guard at the MetLife office. A mattress, floorboards, and other items were taken from the home. And then the following summer, June 27, 2017, Livonia police arrested a person of interest in the case. Now, to bring you up to speed as of last night, let's go to Karen Drew's story for Local 4.
He was one of the last people to see Danielle Stislicki alive. Today he took the stand and said he saw her with the man charged with her murder.
And that was just one part of a day full of testimony that was pretty devastating in Farmington Hills. As the preliminary hearing for Floyd Galloway begins, defender Karen Drew was in the courtroom today. And Karen, a murder case with no body, but the circumstantial evidence really piling up here.
It definitely is. As you said, Danny's body has never been found, but the prosecution believes they have enough evidence to convict Floyd Galloway of her murder. They started the day with a long list of witnesses, including Danny's co-worker, who saw her at her work parking lot the night she went missing. She was apparently talking to Floyd Galloway. His car had broken down. Then another co-worker testified about that fateful day.
And you saw Danielle?
Yes, I saw her.
Did you see someone in the vehicle with her?
Yes.
Who was that?
The defendant.
This cab driver testified she picked up Galloway at a Tim Hortons about 3/4 of a mile from Danny's apartment that night. Here he is, spotted on the restaurant surveillance camera. Footage never publicly seen till now. You can see Galloway asking to use the coffee shop's phone when he called for the cab.
How was Mr. Galloway behaving?
Calmly, real calm.
Detectives also testified Danny's keychain and Fitbit were found between the walk from Danny's apartment and that Tim Hortons Galloway visited that night. This moment caused a gasp in the courtroom when prosecution showed surveillance video of what they believe to be Danny's car headed towards Galloway's home the night of her disappearance.
That appears to be Danielle Stislicki's vehicle. We can see the very significant dirt area on her car.
Also introduced a receipt and video surveillance 2 days after Danny's disappearance when Galloway went into a Beverly Hills Bed Bath & Beyond and purchased a white comforter.
What was unusual?
Just the relevance of the case. You know, she goes missing. You have a new comforter on the bed. You know, he doesn't make a lot of money. That's a pretty, it's a lot of money purchase.
Also, detectives talked about a patch of carpeting that was clearly replaced in Galloway's master bedroom. They also saw carpet remnants in the trash. They're hoping to tie in the fact that carpet was replaced, a comforter was placed just days after Danny went missing. This could prove to Galloway's guilt, but clearly they do still have a long road to travel. Back to you.
Yeah, Karen, how did Galloway's attorney react when all this evidence was presented?
Well, they keep saying it's circumstantial. The fact that he happened to be at a Tim Hortons that was just 3/4 of a mile away from her apartment, they say basically was a coincidence. The fact that this car that was spotted that looked like Danny's car headed to Galloway's home, they said, well, there are a lot of cars like that. Prosecution came back and said, no, there aren't. That car was filled with dirt. This is definitely going to get heated. We'll have more at 6, including some text messages between Danny and the alleged murderer. That's at 6. Until then, we're live in Farmington Hills. I'm Karen Drew. Back to you.
All right, Karen.
Okay, so that was Karen Drew's report on Local 4 News yesterday. To recap about Floyd Galloway Jr., he was arrested in connection with a sex assault case in Hines Park, but police also named him as a person of interest in Stislicki's disappearance. A prior DNA test linked him to Danielle Stislicki's case. He was identified as the former security guard who lived in the Berkeley home that was searched by police months earlier. So on June 28, 2017, he was charged in a Hines Park sex assault case. A 28-year-old woman told police she was attacked while jogging in the park the prior fall, September 4th to be exact, 2016. She said the man dragged her off the path, attempted to take her clothing off, and wanted to have sex with her. She managed to fight him off and run away. So Galloway was also investigated in connection to an Allen Park assault. So on November 21st, 2017, Galloway took a plea deal in the Hines Park case. On December 8th, he was sentenced to 16 to 35 years on charges of kidnapping, criminal sexual conduct, and assault with intent to do bodily harm. Then, on March 5th of this year, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel officially charged him in the Stislicki case. He was charged with premeditated first-degree murder, as you see there on the screen from Click-On's headline. So again, Brandon Williams, her coworker, testified that he saw her with Galloway the day she went missing. Sylvia Morris, the cab driver that Karen pointed out on the stand, testified that she picked up Galloway at a Tim Hortons near Stislicki's apartment later that night. And restaurant surveillance video showed Galloway using a phone, as you saw, to call the cab, officials said. Also to recap, detectives testified that Stislicki's keychain and Fitbit were found. You saw the detective holding those up with his gloves on. And then you saw, as Karen pointed out, the car on the video, her car, being caught on the camera in traffic. And then finally, the receipt from the Bed Bath & Beyond with the white comforter. So all of these things put together, present a pretty damning case, but Galloway's defense maintains the evidence is circumstantial.
That's right. Yeah.
So
that preliminary hearing will go on throughout the week, and we will be live streaming it on Click on Detroit, also at times on Facebook. So that is where viewers can find that.
All right, we will keep the live stream going. If any of you want to continue the conversation via comments, we invite you to do so. And as news breaks in this case and other stories across the state and the nation, we will bring them to you on clickondetroit.com. Thanks for joining us.